London, beginning of the 20th century. The demonstration is now going towards the parliament. A group of women, called the suffragettes, are making their voice heard and ask for the right to vote.
Today we are going to discover the incredible life of Emily Pankhurst. No, this time it will be Emily Davison.
Yes, but just before that, if you like our content, don't forget to hit the bell, follow us on the Spotify page, and send some love. Thank you!
Let us introduce you to Emily Davison. Emily Wilding Davison was born on October the 11th in 1872 in London. She made literature study, which wasn't common for a woman at this time, and ever entered Oxford and followed classes in addition of her job as a governess.
What do you mean I can't have my degree? I literally spent the last 3 years in this place, the more than famous Oxford University, worked so hard my whole life before to be able to enter this prestigious school. I received the first class honors in English class, and after all that, you tell me that I can't receive my degree, which I absolutely deserve. Why is that?
First of all, if we could tone it out a bit, please, Miss Davison. And secondly, I am really sorry, but unfortunately, Oxford University is unable to deliver you your degree because it does not distribute degrees to women, and that's it.
That is such a shame. I did everything right. I worked so hard for this degree. I had to be a governess. My father died years ago, leaving us poor, helpless, hopeless, and still, I received the first class honor in English class. How many men in this building can say the same? How many? That is just so unfair.
So, Emily Davison was confronted with sexism from the beginning of her life, and it was this specific event that sparkled activism for the equality between men and women she would then pursue for the rest of her life.
In 1906, Emily joined the Women's Social and Political Union. But yes, you know the WSPU, the organization campaigning for women's suffrage in the United Kingdom, founded by Emily Pankhurst, the star of our first episode of this podcast. And from 1909, she gave up her job of governess and completely devoted herself to the cause.
Within the movement, she was respected and considered as a devoted suffragette, but also as a wild card because she organized radical militant action on her own initiative.
Okay, so now let's present to you some of the major action of civil disobedience that she made. But to do that, let's play a game with you both.
Yeah.
Okay!
Okay, so what we're going to do, I'm going to tell stories about civil disobedience. 3 of them are real and 1 is invented. The goal of the game is to guess which one is false. Okay. So,
ready.
Emily Davison either snuck herself into the House of Commons 3 times to hide herself in the air ducts and listen to the ongoing political conversations.
Okay, quite precise.
Yeah, a bit too
I
much.
think this one.
Or did she manage to sleep in the House of Commons and spend the night before the census, hidden in a broom cupboard, in order to symbolically declare the House of Commons as her home?
Okay, it's tricky. Okay,
Or did she throw bombs through the windows of the House of Commons, which were in fact only metallical boards on which were written bombs?
Okay, so fake bombs.
Yeah, fake bombs.
Okay.
Or did she throw stones on the car of the Chancellor of the Exchequer, which would be the equivalent of throwing stones on the car of the Minister of the Finances for us?
I think the fourth are true, but I don't know. Maybe
I think the fourth is the one that's false, because it seems less tricky to invent. I mean, it's more common.
So you're saying that I'm a bad inventor?
Yes, maybe.
Me,
Okay.
I'm more into the third one because I think that the two first are too precise to
Yes.
done it. But I think that you don't throw bombs like that. You just. I mean, it's like he was playing with just iron balls, and I don't understand what it will be with bombs. So I don't think that's true.
Do you think Matisse invent all the story about throwing?
I trust in him.
Okay, so
So,
tell us.
the answer was all of them are true.
Oh!
She
You
did
were
other
right.
things.
You are quite a liar.
On the much less funnier side, Lu's action of civil disobedience got her to jail a total of 7 times during her life. As a means of protests in prison, the suffragettes used to carry out hunger strikes. They simply stopped eating. To respond to this, the government authorized force-feeding in prisons.
However, the time she spent in jail was far from being a fun one. Instead, during the several times she was jailed, she went on an hunger strike to protest. Nevertheless, this practice was at this time forbidden, and as a result she was force-fed. So, as you can imagine, such an act was absolutely crushing, harmful, and traumatizing for her.
To protest against these barbaric practices, she barricaded herself in her cell, and as a response, a prison guard tried to float it, and she almost drowned, which is absolutely crazy to me.
When she was once again put in jail after setting mailboxes on fire in London, she was once again force-fed. But this time she decided to play her last card. She severely injured her spinal cord by throwing herself in a staircase. She hoped that this last resort action would stop the practice of force-feeding. Unfortunately, this action have not been enough to make it stop.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our Derby of Epsom. This year we welcome one of our houses of our great King George V with a jockey Albert Jones. We remind to our esteemed audience that he haven't won a major since the Sussex Stakes 3 years ago. One major contender is Edwin Piper rising Abroyer. The horses in the box, and the race began. The first horse is the Black Cossack, followed by the yellow. The King horse is the third, from what I see. But what's happening? He fell down. The medical team is on his way. We don't even see what's happening. I think I saw someone coming from the audience. Please don't make a huge crowd movement.
On June 8, 1913, Emily Davison went to the famous Derby horse race, which was attended by King George V and Queen Mary. In the middle of the race, she stood herself in front of the king's horse, which hit her and fell. She died 4 days later in hospital as a result of this accident.
Did she commit suicide for the cause?
Actually, it's not sure, and it's a matter of debate, because a return ticket to London was found in her belongings.
Maybe she did this impulsively, on a whim?
Yes, maybe also, but if we look closely at the archive images of the accident, we can see that she's holding small WSPU flags, and we think that she only wanted to hang them on the king's horse, and so it was an accident. She didn't want to be hit by the horse.
Yes, okay. Her activism cost her death.
Her funeral was held by the WSPU. 2,000 white-dressed suffragettes followed the coffin. It was one of the largest gatherings of suffragettes in England.
So, okay guys, this was the story of Emily Davison, the most intrepid of British suffragettes. Her preferred mode of action was civil disobedience, as we saw, and outbursts. So, what do you think about it?
About civil disobedience?
Yes.
So, if I may have a point, for me, civil disobedience, it depends on the scale of the disobedience. Because for me, I think that it's only a good thing when it's on a large scale. Because on a medium or small scale, I don't think that it can have a real impact. I mean, imagine you just block a house, maybe people can just go to the next door. And I don't think that it can have a real impact. And even
What is a large scale?
Yeah.
for me, it's to the scale of a country.
Oh.
What do you mean?
I mean,
Every house are blocked?
no, for me,
Every
you do have a point.
every streets
Do you think
are
that
occupied?
Do you think that civil disobedience only works when there are many people involved?
I think yes, because I think that when there is too little,
I don't agree with you.
Okay,
But go on.
Okay, thanks. For me, do you have the problem is that when you are too little, you don't create enough ruckus for people to have a really problem with it, and then people outside of the movement can see you as something that can be violent. For example, for Davison. However, you won't have the result expected if the people other than your movement don't follow you. For me.
But don't you think it's not about like blocking a country or having a lot of physical effect, but to just create debate by just doing an action, an impressive action?
Yes, that the media will pick up and share around the
Yes.
world. You don't need to. I think you don't need to be 1,000 to make something that the media will have to
We
cover
can,
and spread the informations.
We can talk about the activists that spread paint on
Paintings.
paintings. There were two of them, and they create a huge debate.
Yeah, and you know what we're talking about, except even if there were only two.
Yes.
So.
But so for you, civil disobedience is a way to create debate and not something that can achieve something on its own.
Yes, and we can talk about activists that, for example, block roads to stop a specific project, for example, a new highway. And in this case, it's the specific project that it stopped, and it's necessary to be as much as possible.
Yeah, but even so, if you are like too little, and then you have like imagine you block a road and they go just the road after. I mean, you displace the problem, but it will not stop the whole thing. I mean, you can't. I don't understand that. For me, you can't have a massive change of society with small civil disobedience. And for me, the thing that she achieved with the other was due to a huge movement. They managed to change the society with the access to vote. And I don't think that social disobedience can change the society. Maybe some project, but not a society.
Maybe the mind of some people, like of the population,
But do you think that
to ring a bell.
Yeah, but do you think that currently it's kind of dead to do that because people are so on their thing that they won't accept something that don't came from what they believe in?
I think you actually made a point earlier when you said that civil disobedience might not change the system, but as we saw back then, it worked. I mean, they did gain through civil disobedience the right to vote for women. So if the movement picks up and many people go into it and use their voices, I think changes can be made through this type of action.
But at this time, there were people and even suffragettes that were thinking that Emily Davison was not useful for the cause because their action were too violent.
Her action.
Her action were too violent and too impressive. Yes, of course.
Yeah, I see. On the fact that goes in the same way is that she gathered the most people in her life with her death. So maybe it can be something that at that time wasn't really useful, and after we saw it in a good way because the way of living has changed, and now maybe we have a more compassionate way of violent action or disobedient. But at this time maybe it wasn't. So I don't think if we can use the fact of Emily Davison to talk about actual civil disobedience, because I think that the social climate are really changing a lot between the 100 years.
Yes, maybe. I feel like sometimes civil disobedience look like a desperate way to show that you care about something, and you feel like nobody talk about it.
Thank you for listening. Please leave your opinion on civil disobedience in the comment. We will read all of them, and see you next time.